Hello everyone and welcome to the final testing session of the Sundrop Cup Series season, or off season. We're here at Daytona Beach once again, just a little bit after some truck racing. Some scary incidents there. We're hoping for a much cleaner event this time around. Of course, Evan Hunter and Zachary Fitzwater still being checked, and hopefully will be released from the infield care center. But we got more drivers. 43, a record-breaking testing entry. 43. Cars entering this test at Daytona for Speedweeks, trying to get their cop cars ready for this. And the interesting thing about this is this will be the first time at Daytona, for the spring race at least, that we've had a long off season, and these cars still have some upgrades to them. So last year, of course, we came into this mostly brand new. A lot of the cars were much closer in potential, but now we have a much wider field of play to see who will be up front and who will be some front runners with some good cars for this Sundrop 500. Everyone's excited. The fans packed the stands here in Daytona like they always do for testing. We got 43 cars coming out to run in the draft. Is Vince Freeze pulling up real quick on Carter Freeze in there? There is Chris Stoudemire in the 62, and if you joined us for the truck test, you saw that Anjado had 4 different drivers in their cars. Well, Monster Motorsports has all 6 filled of different drivers. This is Mac Johnson piloting the number 1, the most iconic car in the field, the number 77 Monster Energy Chevrolet, normally piloted by Diego Yepes. Mac's going to take it for a ride around here at Daytona. A lot of cars coming off of the track now. There's William Duncan, who in the race, or in this, in the little break between the testing session, criticized the NSDCA and criticized Zachary Fitzwater for the unsafe driving that we saw in the tri-oval. That ended up in a very big incident and was possibly ready to withdraw from this event. He's out there in the 33, just trying to get some laps in, but I think he'll be a bit more conservative in that 33, just trying to figure out how to get this car going on around. Testing has not been too good for Duncan this offseason so far, hoping to see a bit of a turnaround here before he heads to this event in the Sundrop 500 in just a few weeks. There's Sebastian Kukl. Neil and Spurley real close there. There's Kukulon today. They pulled the wild card for the Clash at Daytona, and Sebastian Kukulon won that poll. Last season it was Alex Benyako who won it. He drove the 30 car in the Clash and ended up off the pace in 14th. This year we have 19 cars in the Clash, and number 19 will be there as well. Did not win a poll. He did not win a poll last season. He did not make the chase last season. He is not a defending Sundrop 500 winner, a front row starter, or Clash winner. He is the wild card that they introduced last season. So we'll see if Benyako can, or Kukulon can run a bit better than Benyako did. There's Alex Fletcher for KGM in the 07 car. Weird to see the 07 this offseason. It was usually run by MJM in the trucks. Of course, comes back with KGM full-time this year. Nice to see that KGM is going full-time in the Cup Series. That should be entertaining to see if that little operation, really getting all that help from Anjado, will work out this year. There's Larry Hagan in the 21, and the first pack is starting to form up. The 20 this week is Devin Fair, the Mac Johnson Motorsports driver, a road course ringer. He's getting his super speedway eligibility this weekend here at Daytona, so interesting to see. Again, Matty Porta not in the car. He is off on the sidelines. Of course, all 6 of the Monster Motorsports drivers came down for this testing opportunity. Of course, get a little bit of fun in at Daytona before you have to worry about Speedweeks as well. Just be out here and try to help these younger drivers adapt to these fast Cup cars. There's Irving Allison in the 16, Stephen Wallace Jr. in the 65, another Clash-eligible driver, and there's Lotus Disparito in this 81. She's going to have to hope she can make the Sundrop 500. Of course, 43 entries here. The Sundrop 500 is 42, so if all these cars are indeed attempting the Sundrop 500, they're going to have at least one of these guys qualifying into the show. And Disparito with that Luke Evans Incorporated, really no owner's points on that 81. They're going to have to hope and pray they get that 81 into the field. There's Roger Ray in the 84 trying his best, 14th quickest so far, as Mac Johnson tops the charts with Brandon Morris 2nd, Duncan 3rd, Ben Yacco 4th, and Peter Onjak 5th. Matthew Eves is coming out of his truck in the 48 for Texas Star Racing. He's out of the CFRO 47. He ran very well last year in Daytona. I think 2 top 5s at Daytona, and he was a threat to win this. So could he finally get a Daytona victory this year? We'll have to wait and see. He's very strong at Dega, but not so much at the Daytona International Speedway. 3 very fast drivers, Brady Burkhardt, Peter Onjak, and rookie this season, Alex Beniaco. We'll see what these 3 will be able to do, and Onjak really scared this year, wants to get himself in to victory lane and hope that he can enjoy the championship at the end of the year for that 44 team. Dusty Neal goes to the top of the charts. Spurley Tube 2nd, Kukulon 3rd, Duncan 4th, and Alex Fletcher up to 5th. So those times will continue on. And we're noticing as the clouds kind of came in over the track, it gripped it up just a little bit. And now these guys are about a second quicker than we saw in the trucks. You saw in the truck event, Zach Rogers, Antoine Smith, the only ones under a 44-second lap time. And now you got almost the whole field under 44 seconds. Not Anderson Reed. The 3 this time around is Nicky Morris, 38th quickest, the last driver under 44 seconds. And there's Nicky right there with Gatlin Downey and Joseph Strigley, the lovable underdog for some in that 63 car. The road course ace trying to get his first win this year in now what will be his sophomore season in the Cup Series. We'll see what he can do for his own team. That 63 car. Ryan Butcher, just like Roger Ray, trying this weekend to show some speed, show some progress for a brand new Cup car. They're going to have to hope, because he's in the clash as well. We heard reports that Austin Murray, who is also in a brand new race car for this season, will be driving the 83 car for Butcher. Shade Burkhardt Racing, which is a bit more powerful. So if they do indeed run the clash, TSR doesn't have any spare cars with good equipment, I don't think, in the field. Maybe the 28, but Butcher's going to have to hope that he will be able to drive through the clash. He is a previous clash winner, though. And there you see Rose Henson in the 18 for Silver Wolf Racing. The only test they're coming to, because this is the only race that they're coming to in this season, is the Sundrop 500, at least that we know of. And Rose Henson making her final start, what would be possibly her final start in the Sundrop 500, as she'll be retiring at the end of the year to go pursue her, I believe it's a Formula One career overseas. There's Scott Roush in the 29, 17 at Cody Goforth. Matthew Brown bringing the 01 car, the R&D car, out on track. As we said, it's an R&D car, so they can't really upgrade it, but they did want to get Brown out here. It's a free test. May as well get Brown some help there in that 01. 57 is James Ellison. Interesting choice there, but Ellison is Zachary DeLello's driver in the Mountain Dew Custom Series, so he gets to pilot the number 57 around here for Monster Motorsports. Was not supposed to even return to Zachary Racing last year, as they did not renew the contract until really late in this offseason, so he will be back in that 53 for at least another year. We'll see what he can do this year, especially getting some time out in the Monster Motorsports equipment. 38th quickest so far, so he's not really up to pace at all. Vince Freeze in the 51. There's Corbett in the 61. Riley Spurley, Tube 28. He's 3rd quickest so far. Dusty Neal, fastest on track. Top of the charts. Carter Freeze and Jacob Edson also up here. Edson was a good super speedway racer last season as well. Has been winless for, I think, about 3 years in the NSDCA. We'll see if he can get himself into victory lane this year for Shade Burkhardt Racing. And Carter Friesen announcing that this will be their last year as an NSDCA driver just earlier this week. So they will be retiring at the end of the year from Sauber Racing Team. And Pedal Metal Racing, I believe, is going up for sale by the end of the season as well. So we'll see what that goes to a long-time driver. Of course, he won the season finale back in season number 1, the inaugural year of the NSDCA. Pedal to Metal Racing has had wins and wins with Cloud and Austin Murray. They've won a bunch of races there. So it's sad to see a normal, another season 1 driver disappear from the ranks, but it was a good career for Friesen nonetheless. Got that feel-good win last year at Atlanta that got him into victory lane. As Corbett really sliding up the track there, and Spurley Tube as well. So this track might be a bit more slick now that it's kind of cooled down between the testing sessions. There's Logan Cloud for Pedal to Metal Racing in between Austin Murray and Austin Johnson. So Murray, of course, drove that 91 last season. Now he's in the number 24 for Shade Bar Kart Racing. Brand new car there. He's the last car on the track, 42nd quickest, with Austin Johnson, Logan Cloud trying to pull him around this racetrack in a 3-car tandem. There's Jay Jefferson, your defending champion, only 28th quickest. He has Downey, not Downey right there. That's Max Anderson, who is actually now the slowest. I forgot we have 43 in this testing session. Max Anderson right there, and Peter Onjek, that's 16th quickest so far. Bobo Jones in the 60 instead of Colton Lane. Lane got his chance in the truck for Bobo. He's now 23rd quickest in the Monster Motorsports equipment, and that's 60. There is the only driver to win at Daytona in a Cup car. That is Tib Foster. Well, not the only driver to win in a Cup car, because Austin Murray did last year in the Clash, but to win a points-paying race at Daytona in the Cup car, Tib Foster won both the Sundrop 500 and the Summer race here at Daytona, looking to do it once again as he's racing around here with Jesse Turner, who is also a Daytona winner, his only career win coming in the Valvoline 200 for Ditech a couple of years ago. These two trying to work together. Tip 34th quickest, doesn't really have anyone with him. There's DJ Reed, the HBP driver for this year. HBP on that revolving door of drivers as they go. There's Chris Stottlemyre, 7th quickest for Cyclone. I think that just shows, because we have not really seen a big pack of cars working together yet. We have a few groups of just 2 or 3 and a couple hanging off. There's a good pack right there, and that's where some of your fastest cars are, and that's what they are doing. Edson, Friesen, Neal, Spurley Tube, Corbett, and Freeze all inside the top 11 quickest so far in this testing session. They're trying to work together and get that speed down the back straightaways. If they can get by Edson, that might get him a big run. Not going to happen, but that is 6 cars under a blanket. Nose to tail, trying to drive the fastest as they can. But it's great to see CFRO using Tib Foster's, maybe his setup, maybe his knowledge of this track and the Cup cars, putting that 94 fastest on the board as they run so far across the line. Does not improve, actually slows down. I think that was Edson's doing, holding up this pack. That's really the only group that's working together right now. Jefferson's pulling away from some. You got just no one organized for these first 12 minutes. You got a couple guys nose to tail back here with one of the slowest cars on track, DJ Reed, and of course the 62 Chris Stottlemyre in the middle with Mac Johnson there as well. Alex Fletcher put down a pretty fast lap, 14th quickest so far for KGM as they run their way around. Kyle Corbett jumps to 2nd fastest. Irving Allison 3rd fastest. Spurley Tube 4th. The 19 of Kukul on 5th. Vince Freeze 6th. Jefferson 7th. Stottlemyre 8th. Hagen 9th. And Carter Friesen in 10th. Back there's Lotus Disparito trying to get her best run as she can. Roger Ray tagging on the back of Irving Allison. Kukulon Stephen Wallace Jr. This could be a bit of work together because these two are going to be underdogs in that clash. SWJ has not won with GDI. Was real close a couple times at Iowa and Memphis in his career. Of course, losing the Memphis race to Dusty Neal by just 1 position. And Kukulon, of course, after last year at Sauber, finally getting him into the swing of things, getting him a couple wins. Now he's at SBR in some of the best equipment on the grid. So we'll see what Kukulon will be able to do this year. 5th quickest so far in that 19 car. Devin Fair, Matthew Eves, a couple of underdog drivers there. Eves, a super speedway ace. Fair, a road course ace. Both of them working together down this back straightaway here at Daytona. 16 minutes left in this session. There's William Duncan tagging along behind Sam Picard, who's in the number 5, and Alex Banyako in the 83. These guys right there, 17th, 19th, and 20th fastest on this track. So they're running just basically the same lap times as they come on around. We'll see. Will not improve there. They're still about 4 or 5 tenths off of what their fastest lap was. Here's a pack of cars we can look at. Couple fast ones, couple slow ones. Carson Bowers leading that over Joseph Strigley, Rose Henson, Ryan Butcher, Gatlin Downey, the 3 of Nicky Morris, and Brady Burkhart in the 99. Brady not in that strong equipment. That equipment's gone to Sebastian Kukulon, so he's in, I think, the 82 or 83 car. So it's going to be a bit of a time this year for him to get going, get back in the swing of things, possibly get himself back into victory lane as that 99 rolls along down this front straightaway, being left out to dry on that outside line. We're going to go on board with the 99 real quick as they come down the back straightaway here, or the front straightaway here into turn 1. Ryan Butcher working the inside of that 99 as they go. And there goes the number 69 of Gatlin Downey right by as well. We're going to go ahead, and I hope that we have sound this time. Go for a bit of an NSDCA, crank it up. Straight away, guys, bobbing and weaving. As we go around, Bowers leading the charge there with Nicky Morris right behind. If they can run single file a bit longer and stop battling, you can get some very fast lap times down. That's why even running in smaller packs might be better to get some speed. Here's some of the fastest guys on track, though. There's Freeze and Neal. Edson right there. Spurley Tubes in it. Kyle Corbett. Austin Murray now joining this, so you got a bunch of them as I think Murray might be coming to pit road. No, they're going to just sliding up there, so coming down 7 cars under a blanket as they come down the front straightaway. And, of course, that's what the fans like to see, some side-by-side action here, even in the testing session, as these guys get their cars prepared. Another pack forming up a bit higher. Jay Jefferson leading that one with Bobo Jones, Austin Johnson right behind him. 2 liabilities in the NSDCA. Matthew Brown, Logan Cloud, Vince Freeze right there, and they're all going to gang up against Jefferson. That's a bit reminiscent of the Crown Royal 300 3 years ago with Logan Bradley when Diego Yepes dominated that race, and all of them just went right to the inside and blew by him. Bobo's going to be the only one taking that spot there, but Jefferson's going to fight back on the outside as Bobo had no help. A big, strong run from the 48 on the top, and that could get him back to the front and leading this pack. And it appears bit different of racing so far as we've been seeing from the truck and cup tests. So possibly it's that overcast, cloudy day, giving a bit more grip up on the top. As we've seen these cars a bit more spread out, a bit more strung out, not really. They are battling a bit, but you've been seeing even Jefferson able to hang on to the front of this pack as now they slow up on Jesse Turner. Max Anderson going to the very bottom. We're going to see some 3-wide action, maybe? No. Cloud's going to back out of it, let Bobo in as these 7 come through turns 3 and 4 as Jefferson continues to pace on around. Lotus Disparito on the bottom. Flat tire on the 81. They're going to have to nurse that car back on around and hopefully didn't damage anything under that. Another car, Jesse Turner, had an engine issue earlier on in this event in that car. So that's the only incidents we've seen so far, as that's an interesting pit box for Lotus there. But here they are, 4 cars under a blanket, nose to tail, as they're going to leave Alex Fletcher, Mac Johnson, DJ Reed, and the 62 Chris Stottlemyre nose to tail as they come on by the 07 of Alex Fletcher. Tib Foster at the point of this pack with Kukulon, Stephen Wallace Jr. chasing behind. There's Eves and Devin Fair. Looking at the top 10, Morris is up there. Kukulon's up there. Nice to see Freeze for Johnson Performance, getting some nice pace there. Stottlemyre's fallen to 11th. You got Burkhart 16th. The 60 of Bobo Jones 19th. Even further down, the 57 of James Ellison, 27th quickest, right behind Joseph Strigley, 26th quickest, Mac Johnson, 25th. So it looks like Monster Motorsports right in that area with multiple of their drivers. Ellison, Mac Johnson, Picard, all in that 20 range. Near the back is Tib Foster, and really I think that's more to see. You see who he's around. He has not pit yet, so he's been around the same cars, and they are not really formed up anywhere around him. You don't have many fast cars around him. You have Kukul on there, Stephen Wallace Jr. behind, but just haven't had enough to get them bunched together, get some runs. So Tib a bit slow in that 40 car as they come on around. Butcher near the back as well. Safe to say that's how his testing season has gone so far. Just not a very fast car, very fast power under that 88 so far. As this year progresses, that development will speed up. But at the back of the pack, it's Matthew Brown, Eli Bright, another driver for TSR that does not really have a good engine and equipment underneath him, and DJ Reed for HBP, slowest in the field so far. As here comes Tib around right there. He's going to increase his time to 17th quickest, only a matter of time as Peter jumps up to get with him. So that's what I said. You need these guys to form up, and since they were spread out, you're still getting a whiff of that draft, and if you're the guy further back in the spread out like SWJ or Foster, you can get a giant run to get those positions and to get that speed. And SWJ, I think, did not get it last time. But now you see Kukulon working his way past Eves and Fair. Kukulon running all by himself right there. Didn't have anyone really in front or behind him. He caught in passing. He caught and is passing the 47 and the 20. There is Duncan and Benyako work their way around. Oh, that's nice to see. You got the team owner with his driver behind him. Again, Duncan, the one that was very afraid of actually getting out onto the track with how weird that tri-oval was. So it looks like he's just tagging along with his owner, trying to learn, trying to work together, because this is also a great time to practice possibly groups together that you can drive with. As Neil, I don't know if he has an issue or not. Hagen had an engine failure, so did Stottlemyre, so I don't know if Neil's coming. Oh, it is the 62 of Stottlemyre that kicked up all that dirt there, so that there was no incidents, just the 62 coming down pit road. So Stottlemyre is going to lose an engine in that Cyclone car. Hopefully that was a legal engine they had in there. You see Anjado with Foster and Onjak on the inside, but this is a good chance to work together with the drivers you want to work together on the test. You got Eves, who's the driver that Tib Foster hired to drive that 47. Onjak, the guy that hired Foster to Anjado. So you got a lot of people here that you want to work together with, and you know that will get you some good information out on track, and that's what Benyako and Duncan are doing right now as they're nose to tail as the dirt disperses on that back straightaway. There's Butcher, Downey, Srigley, the 3. Edson now coming down pit road. So as we said again in the truck test, at this point in the season, we've talked immensely about every driver in this field. There's not much in terms of surprises left. The only thing is, of course, that 91 team, Logan Cloud, coming back last season, goes to Monster Motorsports because it's either MM or P2M that he could go to with his contract. Goes there. Now he's at P2M, but they're closing at the end of the season, so we'll have to see where he goes. It's rumored he could join back and just drive for CFRO for the remainder of his career, so he can control where he goes in his career. He has also had a lot of bad issues with some team owners in the past for that driver, but he did do pretty decent at Monster Motorsports in a pretty underfunded equipment. And as we were saying, Benyako and Duncan working together. You got Hagen and Jefferson working together. So JJ pushing his driver, the future of TSR possibly. He wants Larry Hagen to get up there and do good this year in that 21 car. And Hagen's second quickest so far as he's gone and moved his way up the totem pole. DJ Reed's been with a couple fast drivers, still not putting down fast laps in that 06, so that is a very slow time for him. There you see Scott Roush in the 29, could be his final season too. He's not said anything further on the matter of running in the future in the NSDCA. Roger Ray in the 84, who is on Giotto's future, his rookie season this year. Hopefully he'll go good. He did very well last year in the Truck Series. 0 wins to his career after, what, 3 years? 2 years full-time at MDCS and CRTS competition. Almost could have won the title in both, but still winless in his NSDCA career, and I don't really see that changing this year in the Cup Series because it's going to be a bit of time for catch-up for that 84 car. There's the pack of cars. Disparito, they put a new engine in that, or new tire on that 81. Nose to tail right there. Kukulon, Foster. That four-car group right there could really set down some fast lap times if they can form together and get themselves ready. Because Foster right up there with Kukulon leading the train. Onjek, SWJ, that is 4 very fast cars. You already see them pulling away from Fair and Disparito as they come on around. So we will watch and see maybe if they put down a competitive lap time here. These 4 nose to tail coming off the corner up to full song. Here they come across the line. Not going to be too much of a gain for any of them. This is just around the same time, so that's good. There's Duncan now fighting with Edson, who's also an SBR driver. Carson Bowers, so bit of a pack forming up here in these closing laps. Just trying to get, you know, as I said, as much information about these Cup cars as possible. Long off season that you couldn't really drive them in these fast tracks, so I think this is one of the first fast tracks we've gone to in this off season that's not really a road course as well. Dusty Neal continues to hold the fastest lap time in this off-season testing session, just by a little bit over Larry Hagan and Brandon Morris, but as we come to the end of this, the track's starting to wear in with that cloudy day that we're seeing here at Daytona. So it looks like Neal might just finish this one on top after a very strong opening few laps in his session here. There's Joseph Strigley in the 63. Again, last year came into Daytona thinking it was going to be a one-off event for JSR. Ended up running the full season, especially after Atlanta the next week. He almost went on and won it on an alternate pit strategy. There you see the best buds, Brady Burkhart, Brandon Morris, who have been around for years in the NSDCA. Of course, the only team in the history of the NSDCA to run 2 manufacturers in the same series. They were both on Burkhart Morris Motorsports back in Season 1. The 55 was a Toyota. The 99 was a Ford. But now they've both really switched just to full-on Toyota, running very strong there for SBR and BGM. What in the world just happened? Devin Fair laid back in the 20, got a giant run on the top 4, and is now the first driver under a 44.1 fastest on the track. And if that doesn't show some growth, I don't know what is. Great run there for Fair, just using that speed on these top 4 to catch back up. You have about half a second of a gap to still have draft, to still feel draft, and I think that's what he used to power right on up. What a lap, and Dusty Neal knocked off the top. Heartbreaking there for Neal, who really wanted to come out of this with the fastest lap probably, but Devin Fair is going to shock him. Kukulon has also jumped. He's jumped Morris up to 4th. Corbett's still 6th. Vince Freeze still 10th, but what a lap. Devin Fair, give a round of applause to that Monster Motorsports, Mac Johnson Motorsports driver. That is a super speedway, so hopefully he can have that pace in the races and in, you know, speedway races, short track events, but great to see that 20 car on the top of the board. We'll hopefully see Porta on the top of the board as well this year. Got 5 cars lined up, a bunch of Toyotas with Carter Friesen leading them. You got Edson, Henson, Benyako, and Duncan still at the back of that one. Duncan enjoying that, seeing that 83. Duncan hasn't even made a move to get around the 83. I think they're just working on that that push in there. So we'll see. Happy to see Duncan finally coming up into the Cup Series. Happy to see a lot of drivers finally making the jump to the Cup Series. Now that we have pretty much a finished ladder in the NSDCA, it took 6 years to build these series up, and now, you know, we have the bottom tier. You got the DPDS Molson Modified, then you move up to the MDCS, CRTS, and finally the pinnacle of the NSDCA finally here, the Sundrop Cup Series in their 2nd season, as these guys are racing on around here at Daytona. So now Neal is going to have to hope that these guys work together, possibly get him a faster lap time, but I don't know if that's going to happen now that he's more or less just blowing by these guys that are slower in front of him. Got a bit of a pack that he could catch up to there. I think it's going to be too far back, though. You see him just entering the screen at the top. As Morris and Goforth, that is 2 drivers to watch out for this season for Butcher Gatorade Motorsports, now working together to the bottom as they pass Corbett and Austin Murray on that outside run. Vince Freeze, Jay Jefferson side by side there. Hopefully Jay doesn't think Vince is a lap car too many times this season as he makes his way past that number 51 in that car. Tib Foster's jumped his way up to 7th on the board. Great to see Tib have some of that pace. As he Spurley to bringing that car back out on track. There's Hagan coming back out. Roger Ray. Another bit of the slower cars back here, really, in the HBP Ditech entries. His HBP, actually, he just ran a very fast lap up to 23rd quickest. So that puts now Eli Bright at the tail end of the pack. And Carson Bowers, 41st quickest. I mean, that's kind of true because he has not really had drivers around him in this testing session. But Bowers only 41st quickest, the slowest of the Onjato drivers, but not of that Onjato TSR Alliance. As Eli Bright, you see just a couple cars behind, is also 43rd quickest. Lotus Disparito, 42nd quickest. Bowers back there, Butcher, Austin Murray. So that's what's also going to be interesting this year, to see teams like SBR, TSR, Onjato having to put some resources towards their new cars, which could possibly bring the top of the field back together. Because you saw last year, we only had, I think, 6 drivers won the majority of the season. In that being Jefferson, Foster, Onjack, Burkhart, Morris, and the last one, the last name escapes me at this time. But there was one of the big, and Yepes were the big 6 last year that won the majority of the season. So hopefully we'll be able to see some other teams. CFRO has a really good Dusty Neal this year. Eves has not impressed at all in these test sessions. Of course, he got more Monster Motorsports. DJ Curtis could finally shine. Sauber has a very strong Carter Friesen that could be big this year. William Duncan could even get in there at the road courses now that he could be a big threat with Ben Yako too. Kukulon could finally get himself into victory lane. Even GDI has not looked too bad this offseason. Austin Johnson's run pretty well. So is Stephen Wallace Jr. So it's going to be entertaining to see how this season progresses as we head to the end of this session here at Daytona. And we will be kicking off Speed Weeks soon. The Clash, the DPDS, and Molson Modified season openers all ahead here, coming up very soon in the NSDCA. You also got the MDCS tests, the tape delays that will be coming live soon as well. But as we come to the end of this session, Devin Fair shocks him, stays back, lays back behind the fastest group, and he takes the fastest lap of the session. Dusty Neal, Larry Hagan, Sebastian Kukulon, Brandon Morris, Kyle Corbett, Tib Foster, Irving Allison, Riley Spurley, Max Anderson, your top 10. Rest of the field down there on Jack 11th, Vince Freeze, and the rest as they go off your screen. The sun comes out at the end of the testing session. Thank you guys so much for tuning in, and we will go ahead and get you guys ready for the rest of this fantastic offseason into the 7th season of the NSDCA. Thank you guys so much for watching. We'll see you guys next time on the NSDCA.